Hello, one and all. Welcome to a Galaxy Man Show here. So basically, today I will be doing an interview with Maddie G Music. If anyone hasn't heard of her, she has a new song release out called Cards You Played. And yeah, I'm gonna give you a brief demo of what it's like. It's so incredible. So I'll get her on the live once I play a snippet of Cards You Played. So hope you all enjoy, and I'll get Maddie on straight after I play a snippet of her song. You had your chance, but you blew it. I gave you all of me, but you threw me away. I did nothing but love you and be loyal to you, but it wasn't enough for you to stay. So go on, walk away. I'm sure I'll miss you, but I know I'm better off without you, 'cause you didn't care that much. But like a fool, I stayed in touch, but not anymore. I don't care if you think I'm wrong. It's irrelevant, I've moved on. But you gotta deal with how the dice have rolled. Don't blame me, it's out of my control. But don't come crawling back to me now that I've gone happily. Well, there you all go. There was a snippet of Cards You Played. Definitely go check it out on Matty G's YouTube channel. It's incredible. So I'm just waiting for Matty G to come on the live now. And yeah, yeah. Matty, I'll get you to introduce yourself.
I'm Maddie G. I have a song that just came out today. It's called Cards You Played.
Awesome. So for my first question, what was it like writing and creating Cards You Played? And what is the meaning behind the song?
What was it like writing and creating Cards You Played? I wrote it. It was honestly one of the easiest songs I wrote. It came together very quickly. It all kind of just fell into place really nicely. Um, uh, yeah, I really enjoyed writing this song. I found that it was very fun and a good way to channel my emotions at the time. And I guess, yeah, that brings me to what it's about. The song is really about, well, a friendship gone south, but you can interpret it however you choose to interpret it. I kind of just wanted to create a song that was relatable to everyone, no matter like what your situation is. But I wanted to, like with my first song, Poison, I kind of did a more kind of like screw you song instead of like, yeah, what you did sucked, but look at how much I've grown from it. Like this is, it's not my fault alone. Like it's the joint thing, you know? And so
Yeah.
I think I just wanted to make sure that I got that across in the song is that, you know, just when things don't go right doesn't mean it's always all your fault. And sometimes you just got to grow from it. Take the positives, you know?
Awesome. Well, for my next question, who would be your top three favorite artists to work with in the music industry?
Oh, top two favorite artists to work with? That's hard. Oh, okay. I personally am obsessed with Sabrina Carpenter. She is my favorite singer.
Mhm.
So I would absolutely love to work with her. Um, I Oh, there's so many. Wow, that's hard. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to not just pick my favorite artist. I'm trying to think who would I like to write with, who's like production would I be
Yeah.
loving to. I think maybe Halsey, because I am obsessed with the way that the production on her songs and the way that she tells the story, and it's just so insane. Like everything is so coordinated really well, and so I think it would just be insane to work with her. And probably maybe Taylor Swift. I love Taylor Swift so much. Her songwriting is probably like one of the main reasons I still write today because I was very inspired by her. So probably yeah, Taylor Swift. I would love to work with.
Awesome. Well, for my next question,
Yeah.
how long have you been in the music industry for, and who inspired you to get into music?
Who inspired me? I've been in the music industry. I don't know that you. I don't. Would I count myself as in the music industry? I don't know. I've been.
I reckon I would, because you have the talent for it, and you are
Thank you.
truly incredible. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I have been singing. I've been singing since I was like 8. Performing since I was also 8. But I really began songwriting and pursuing this when I was about 13 or 14. I'm like 16, nearly 17 now. Yeah. And so I think I've always just kind of been into music. It was always a big part of my life growing up. Not to say my parents were necessarily musical, but music was always a big part of me growing up. And it would constantly be played, and it would just always be a constant for me and something that I always found comfort in. And so I was just like, I want to create that same kind of a space for other people, you know, because I used to write poetry a lot when I was younger. And so I think I just wanted to be like able to create the same kind of like solace that I felt through music for others, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, for my next question, if anyone wants to get into creating their own music, what advice would you give that person?
What advice? I think just go for it. I think that's like honestly the biggest piece of advice, because I feel like a lot of people just tend to think, oh, I can't do that, and then they just never try. But I think one of the biggest things is just trying and keeping on going and just developing your skills in it, you know? Like it's about just keeping on going and constantly writing, because like I wrote a lot of horrible songs when I was younger. You just gotta keep perfecting your craft, you know? I think that's probably the biggest piece of advice, though, is just to actually give it a fair shot and not just like be like, I can't do that, and then just never really try, you know?
Yeah. Well, for my next question, what would be your top 3 favorite songs to sing?
Top 3 favorite songs to sing?
Yeah.
Like of all time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh god, that's hard. Top 3 favorite songs to sing. Wow. That is very difficult. I've actually thought about that. I think probably, I love I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. It is just such a fun song. And I was not alive when it came out, obviously. I am like 5 compared to that song. But it was one of the first songs I learned how to sing. And so I think I just have a very special connection to that song. And so it's always kind of been a big part of me. And so I think that's easily one of my favorite songs to sing. Also, it's a classic. It's a bop. It's like, I will survive. You know, it's like so good.
Just like that upbeat kind of song.
Yeah. Oh, two more. I think probably If I Ain't Got You by Alicia Keys. I love that song so much.
Nice.
And I don't know. That's so hard. So many songs to choose from. I don't know. Havana. I love performing Havana a lot. Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs.
Awesome. Well, for my next question for you, Maddie, what would be like the positive and negative sides in creating music?
Positive and negatives. Positive, for sure, getting to create the music and seeing what everyone thinks of it. I think that's my favorite thing of all, is seeing how people feel about the music and what it makes them feel, and how it's just the most exciting thing in the world is to see people hear something that you've been working on for so long. I think one of the negatives is for sure just like, well, I don't think it's a negative necessarily, but like all the planning that goes into it, like all the behind the scenes stuff that needs to be done. When, you know, like as a creative person, I'm like, I just want to put my music out there, but then I'm like, yeah, but I have to do this, and this, or else no one's gonna hear it. So I think that's a little bit of a drawback, but it's just part of life. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, for my last and final question, why should people check out your song "Cards You Played"?
Why? Because it's a bop. That song slaps. Sorry, I've worked really, really hard on it, and I'm just so excited for people to finally be able to hear it. I wrote it like, oh gosh, I wrote it ages ago now. Maybe like a year and a half ago, probably. So it's like, it's not, I wouldn't say it's an old song, but I've had it in my like, with me for like a while, and I've just been waiting for people to hear it because I'm like, it's so good. So you should just go listen to it for sure. It's a good song.
Yes, definitely do that, everyone. Check out Cards You Played. I just want to thank you so much, Maddie, for coming on. It means so much. You are truly incredible and so talented. You have no idea how talented you actually really are. So everyone go check it out. And yeah, she's truly incredible. Definitely go check out Cards You Played. So thank you so much for joining, and see you all next time. Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show here. So basically today's interview is with this incredible and amazing dancer named Lucy Diaz. I'll show you a snippet once again of her incredible dancing, and then I'll give Lucy a ad in this live show. So yeah.
Six got tall, but I ain't trying to get preachy. No. I seen how you get home, boy. Please take it easier on me. Cause I don't wanna play no games.
I'll let you introduce yourself on my show, the Galaxy Man Show. So explain a bit about yourself and what you do.
So I am a dance instructor and a professional dancer. I live in the Hollywood area, and I've been doing it for I've been dancing professionally for about 12 years, but I've been dancing ever since I was 8 years old, so for quite some time. Yeah.
And for my first question, who actually? So, how did you get into the like dance and entertainment industry, and basically who inspired you?
Who inspired me to start dancing professionally?
Yeah.
Well, I started dancing. My first professional job as an entertainer was dancing for a soccer team, and the soccer team was called, they don't have it anymore, but it's called Chivas USA. So it was pretty much, our rivals were Galaxy at the time. It's like a big arena here in Carson. I think I didn't even realize that I wanted to be a professional dancer. I didn't even realize that that was something I could make money doing. I didn't even realize that the whole world that's out there as an entertainer, and the possibilities of doing your passion and making money, until I was able to be on Chivas USA and I was able to make money doing it. And to be honest, I didn't even realize what of a platform the Chivas USA soccer team was. I didn't realize how big it was. I just was like, oh, they're cute. They're little costumes. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. And I loved it. So I think it was then that gave me my idea that I can make money doing it. And I pursued it right after that. So I don't think it was really anybody that inspired me. I think it was just that experience alone that made me realize, like, okay, there's money to be made here. So just go in. Yeah.
Awesome. Incredible. So for my next question, what would be your top 3 favorite songs that you would dance to?
Top 3 favorite songs? Oh my God, that's hard. I don't know. I haven't really thought of that. I can't think of that from the top of my head, but right now I'm working on a project. It's by Mariah Carey. She has a new, well, it's not new, it's actually really old, but it's called Hero by Mariah Carey. And it pretty much talks about, like, you know what I'm talking about? You know what song I'm talking about? Yeah. And like, have you ever listened to the lyrics of that song? Probably not. You have?
Incredible.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. Wow. I wouldn't think you would have listened to the lyrics, because Yeah.
It's incredible.
I mean, yeah. So basically what the song talks about is that every single person has a hero inside of them. It's just their responsibility as humans to find it themselves. And I think for me, what inspires me the most to create is the meaning behind it. So I would say right now, that's my next project, is working on that song particularly, and that vision to come alive, and to kind of just, especially now with what's going on, you know, kind of just to send the message out there that
be more creative and stuff.
Yeah, and like just to take more risks as well, and like I don't know about you, but like this has really affected me, the pandemic. I've just realized a lot. So yeah, I think that's a song that'll hit home for a lot of people.
Yep.
So yeah.
For my next question on that, what are the ups and downs into dancing that you find hard and that you struggle with?
The ups and downs, like, what do you mean? Sorry.
Like the positive, negative sides about it.
The positive and negative sides. Let's start with the negatives. I would say the negatives is always comparing yourself to other dancers, because it's such a competitive field and it's such a competitive career that you're constantly like, am I good enough? Should I continue to do it? There's always a little devil behind your head that's questioning whether you should continue to pursue your dream and your passion and what you live for. So that's a huge negative, and always getting told no. You know, out here where I live in Hollywood, what it is like a lot of dancers have agents, and all the agents send every single dancer to the same audition. So for example, say there's an audition for Mariah Carey. So we have 4 agencies that send all of the dancers for the Mariah Carey audition, and every dancer is there dancing, competing, and it starts off with, let's just say 100. But it's usually like 500. So let's just use an easy number, you know, 100. And then they go down to the top 20, and they're only picking 18 dancers. And you're right there so close. And then you get told no. Like, it's constantly getting that rejection that is also very, very, very difficult to, just to face every day out here in Hollywood. So I would say those are the 2 huge negatives. But I mean, the positive is, you know, you get to do what you love. You know, you get to wake up and be excited to take on a new challenge, to take on a new responsibility of like getting better and learning more. And because in dance, there's always more you can do to improve yourself. It's a hard field, you know, so there's nonstop in the growing department. Like it'll never stop. So that's very, very fun, and I find it fascinating that there's always something more you can do. So yeah.
Awesome. For my next question, what advice would you give someone who wants to get into the dancing career?
Do it. The only way you could figure out if you're going to be good at it is if you do it, you know. My first advice for anybody that would like to get into dance and to make it a career would be, you know, don't limit yourself, because once you start limiting yourself, then all of these things come behind you. Like, could I do it? Am I good enough? Am I pretty enough? Am I strong enough? You know, it's like you don't know it until you do it. So that's why I say just do it, because the only way you're going to find out if you're good at something is if you just do it. Honestly, a lot of things that I've became successful at, and working with artists or working on shows or choreographing for different clubs and concerts, I just had to do it. Like when I went in there and I actually did it, even when I was so scared and so afraid of not being liked or not being accepted, when I actually did it, I ended up getting the job. So it's like, if you just do it, you'll figure out if it's for you or if it's not for you. And even if you figure out that it's not for you, well, you have homework to do. You got to work harder. And I mean, that's what makes dance exciting as a career, is like, you either really love it and you're going to put in the work every single day, or you're not going to make it. It's just how it is.
Awesome. And for my last question, who would be your top 3 dancers to work with?
Dancers or like dancers?
Dancers, entertainers,
Artists?
yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
My top 3 artists to work with. Number 1 is Jennifer Lopez. I really, really want to work with her. I love that she's a Latina, and I love how she's like over 50 and is still in really good shape. So I would say Jennifer Lopez. I want to work with Ricky Martin because I love Latin music. Anything in the Latin market is what I feel more passionate about dancing. So Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin, and I don't know. I'm trying to think of a third one. I don't know. The third one will be kind of tough because there's like, I would say anybody in the Latin market is my go-to. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a third one. I can't think from the top of my head.
It's all good. Yeah. Well, can I just say thank you so much, Lucy, for coming onto my show. Everyone, definitely go support Lucy Diaz. She's such a truly an incredible dancer, and definitely go give Lucy a massive support. So thank you for coming onto my show, and thank you so much again. Thank
you. It's nice meeting you, and thank you for all your support. I really appreciate it.
That's completely all good.
Hello one and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So basically today's guest is named Michaela Berger. She is a actress and performer, a singer, a truly incredible singer. So I'm going to show you her YouTube channel, and then I'm going to invite Michaela onto the live broadcast. So here is Michaela's YouTube channel for everyone to see. There it is, and I will add Michaela into the live now. Just waiting for Michaela to come in.
Hello.
Hello, Michaela. Pleased to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Okay, so can you explain a bit about yourself, and then I'll get into the questions with you?
Yes, so I'm a full-time, well, I was until COVID-19, but I'm a full-time performer, and I travel Australia and the world with mostly with my own shows, but I also work for other theatre companies and some children's theatre companies as well, which is great. Patch Theatre and Windmill Theatre. And I do some stuff with State Opera in Australia. So I kind of do all the things that most performers do, which is we try and do everything we can to try and get as much work as we can, basically.
Awesome. So basically we're getting to the questions. For my first question, who inspired you to get into performing?
I'd have to say my mother. We grew up in Coober Pedy in the middle of the desert. And there was nothing there with performing arts or anything, but my mum had a really big passion for the arts and singing, and she used to sing to us all the time. And the only VHS tapes that we had were The Wizard of Oz and The Sound of Music. Oh, wow. So I kind of grew up watching, that's what I thought TV was. And then mum would drive us down the dirt road for 12 hours to come to Adelaide, which was the closest town, to go to see the big shows like Starlight Express and all the big 80s musicals. So she's the reason behind, she's the one that introduced my sisters and I to the arts. But both of my parents have just been so supportive the whole way through. So I kind of, I put it to them that I'm still doing it, because they just kept saying, do what you love, and they said, don't get a day job, don't get a backup job. Yeah, so it was mainly because of them.
Awesome. For my next question, what experiences have you learnt while performing for others?
Oh, I mean, a lot. I mean, do you mean what lessons have I learned?
What lessons have you learnt? Yeah.
Well, the biggest lesson is to have fun, actually, because when you take it too seriously, there were a few years when I was taking it all very seriously, and I was touring the world with one of my shows, and I was stressed, like I was feeling a lot of stress all the time, and because I do a lot of the producing of things as well, like the admin side, and so but then something switched, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I not just having fun? Because it's such a fun job. So when that switched, I'd learned a really big lesson on stage and off stage to try and enjoy myself more, and enjoy it for what it is, because it does become a job. There is a point where it does become a job, and the days when you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't even get out of bed, and then you have to get on stage and perform in front of 500 people.
Yeah.
It's a struggle, because you internally you're like half asleep, and externally you're switched on and going for it. So yeah, I've learned that lesson, and also probably a lesson about trusting as well, in the industry as well as on stage, just trusting that everything's going to be fine, and that and if something does go wrong, it's not a big deal. Yeah.
Awesome. So for my third question, how long have you been performing for, and what new projects do you have upcoming after all this pandemic stuff that has been going on?
After.
Yeah.
So my first professional show was when I was 9.
Oh, wow.
And I'm now 38, so that's 29 years. Yeah, so it's been quite a long journey. After COVID, you've seen me on Sequence Sessions. I've started an online streaming channel thing, and I'm hoping to continue that because I'm really enjoying it. So
you're doing such an incredible job with it, by the way.
Thank you.
A lot of great people involved with it, and
thank you.
while in these kind of times, we need someone like yourself and other creators like yourself to help people along in these times. So I just want to say thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah,
my pleasure.
And
then also all the other projects that got cancelled, they're hoping to try and reschedule. Some of them can't reschedule because they've already got their program set for 2021.
Oh, wow.
And so it's just an unfolding thing. What's going to happen, we're not sure yet.
Yep. And so for my fourth question, if anyone wants to get into performing, what advice would you give that person?
I would say to decide if you really want such a different life and to decide if you're okay with uncertainty, because the biggest thing in the performing arts world, as we're seeing now with the COVID thing, is that the people who are slipping through the cracks, it's the performing arts industry, because it's such an unconventional setup. Our incomes are so random, and I would just say, if you want a house and a car and 2.3 children, if you want a kind of said normal society life, it might not be the profession for you, although you can do it still. But it's just like, we've made a lot of sacrifices, my husband and I, because I'm a performer. We chose a very, very cheap unit to live in so that we didn't have to stress about paying a big rent every week. And we've got one car between us, which is fine, which is normal really. But there's a lot of things. It's just deciding if you really want it, you can. I believe that anyone can do it. It's just deciding, what life do you want, basically? And if you want a life in the performing arts, it's so exciting and so fantastic. It's just, you really need to be ready to make a few little sacrifices that you see all your friends who are in sort of 9 to 5, office jobs and normal jobs. I don't like using the word normal, because what is normal, but what is seen as normal in our society. And you see them all buying houses and this and that, and you'll be, but then you just keep reminding yourself that you're doing what you love. So that'd be my little bit of advice. And also to be prepared to work. It doesn't come on a silver platter. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For my fifth and final question, just going to get it up for a minute. Here it is. So in this time of all this pandemic stuff, what's next for your music? Like, what do you want out of your music after all this stuff?
I'm hoping to create a new show, and I think the pandemic will definitely have an effect on it because of the isolation and having a chance to kind of slow down. I think it's going to impact, I'm hoping that it will impact the world in quite a big way, that people will slow down and realize that there's more than being busy to life. And I think musically, it's going to have an impact on me personally, possibly because I'll have a bit more time to write. Although sequence sessions is me keeping me very busy, but I am trying to now, once sequence sessions is kind of rolling along, to try and spend a few hours a day, maybe starting to write again and see what comes of it.
Nice. And you mentioned about see what life brings. With this question I actually have for you, Michaela, what would your younger self say if your younger self saw you now?
If they saw me, I think they'd be like, "Oh, you're doing what you love! Yay! I didn't think you'd be able to do that." I think they'd probably be happy.
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much, Michaela, for joining my live Instagram show. It means so much. Everyone go support Michaela Berger. She's really amazing, great performer, and yeah, so thank you so much for joining.
Thanks so much for having me.
Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show. I am here with, I'll let you introduce yourself and explain a bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Stephanie Angelini, and I'm a 28-year-old singer, songwriter, recording artist from Melbourne, Australia. So I do many different things like that, which is really cool.
Awesome. So for my first question, Stephanie, what can you tell us all about your new release, Cause of You, and what is the meaning behind the song?
Well, firstly, Cause of You is my latest single, as you mentioned, and it's been distributed by Universal Music over in America, which is really exciting. And it's in a compilation album at the moment called Raindrops Loves Holidays, Volume 2. And you can find it on Spotify, iTunes, pretty much every online streaming platform. And it's just a really good love song. If you want one of those heartfelt romantic ballads, then Cause of You is the one for you. And it's just got different lights and shades in it. So I think it's a song for everyone.
Awesome. And for my next question, who inspired you into creating music in the first place?
Oh, do you know what? I think it's always been inside. Like I did have a lot of musical influences. So people like the Carpenters, John Denver, ABBA, Kate Bush, number one, Kate Bush. So I think they really inspired me to start singing, or at least like touch base in my vocal ability, because I didn't actually really start training till I was about 13. But prior to that, I was just singing for fun. But yeah, I mean, I do come from a musical family as well, so I'm not surprised if it's in the genes there. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Awesome. And so for my next question, what are the positive and negative sides about the music industry?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't really get that one a lot. Look, I think the positive thing is these days we can really do anything. So in terms of recording, live streaming, to get our music out there, I think, years and years ago, they had demo tapes and you had to submit it in everywhere. We didn't have online technology. So I think if you wanted to collaborate with someone or you wanted to record a song, you can always do it from home. And to get your creative ideas out there, it's so easy to do that. I think the downfall part is it's so competitive, and unfortunately, everyone's taste in music isn't going to be everyone's taste in music. Everyone has their own style, and everyone has their own tastes that they like. So yeah, I think that's probably just like the downfall of it, is just the competition and trying to get recognized like that by the higher end labels, shall we say.
Awesome. And so for my next question, what are your top 3 songs in the music industry that you would love to do covers for?
Ooh. Currently or just any
ones that you can think of.
Okay, well, definitely number 1, it would be Wuthering Heights from Kate Bush. That is my ultimate number 1 favorite song. And I think Kate Bush is the original artist and the writer, so she her version's brilliant, but I'd love to put a different spin to it one day. Another one would be, actually, another one was I Fall to Pieces from Patsy Cline, but I actually did do a cover already, and it is on my debut album, Life Lessons. So if you want to check it out, it is on there. So that was number 2. And then number 3, I'm not too sure actually. I think, I don't know, maybe something boppy and fun, something a bit different. Maybe like, maybe like a Taylor Swift song. We'll say a Taylor Swift song. I love her, and I can't really specify a song because I love all her songs, so we'll just say a Taylor Swift song.
Awesome. And so for my next question, what advice would you give someone if they want to get into the music industry themselves?
Yes, that's a good one. I think if you're a songwriter, write. Just keep writing whatever comes to your mind. I wrote an original song at 2 o'clock in the morning because I had an idea, and it is now on my album. So just write, because you never know what will happen, who will pick up the song, and what will come out of it. In saying that, when I say who will pick up the song, release your song. So we have social media, so just go onto every platform you can and release your songs. And I'd also just, say keep your wits about you. Don't always there are, I guess, people out there that will put you down, or that they'll say no a million times, and that's okay, because I love this saying, by the way, every no leads to a yes. Okay, so I abide and live by that, and it's helped me till today. So all I can say is just keep going. I know it's hard. I've had my down days, but keep going.
Awesome. And last but not least, for my last question, who would be your top 3 artists to actually work with in the music industry?
Wow. Oh my goodness. I have so many. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a broad type of thing here. Number 1, Kate Bush. Number 2, Chris Isaak. And number 3, we'll say Taylor Swift, because she's gone from country to pop, and I'm a huge fan. So
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much, Stephanie, for joining my show, The Galaxy Man Show. It means so much. Keep up the amazing and incredible work with your music. You are truly talented, and you have no idea how talented you actually really are. So keep up the amazing work.
You.
And thank you one and all, and see you all next time. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello one and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So basically today's guest I have on my interview show is a truly amazing singer and performer named Jamie Lee Fox. And I'm about to invite her onto the stream now. So
I'm Jamie Lee. I'm a full-time musician and DJ and MC, and I do lots around Brisbane. And I guess I'm unemployed at the moment, so like the rest of us,
Awesome.
Yes. Go on.
Awesome. Okay, so for my first question, to get into the questions, who inspired you to get into creating music and performing music?
I mean, I started learning piano when I was really young, and I started singing when I was like along with that. So I guess I always kind of enjoyed it. But you know, going through high school and stuff, I was in like the choir, in the bands, in all the musicals. So that's where I kind of feel the love for it. But when I left school, I went and did some psychology at uni, and I guess I always just wanted to be a musician. And so it didn't matter what I did, I always ended up somehow mingling with the right people. And so, yeah, in terms of being able to go out and gigging, I got lucky. I met a guy that was performing, and he got me up on stage a few times. And then next thing you know, I was performing and actually getting paid for it. So that's cool.
Awesome. So for my second question on that, who would be your top 3 artists to work with in the music industry?
Alive?
Yeah, pretty much alive. It can, yeah.
Like, are you talking like famous, or are you talking about local?
Famous,
Okay.
whatever suits you.
I mean, I really love Dua Lipa, what she does. I'm a major Amy Winehouse fan, but she's obviously not around to hang out with. But yeah, I kind of float. I don't have particular artists I like more than others. I really do love all sorts of music. I love Bruno Mars, you know. I love people that are a bit of a showman, you know, rather than just the singer.
Awesome. So for my next question, Jamie, what do you like about performing, and basically who, like, with performing and all this like COVID-19 stuff, how has this all affected your like music wise?
Well, it's completely changed lots. So not only am I not earning an income, which is the kind of obvious side of it, but I think for myself, I've been quite scared of technology. I would say I've been avoiding getting up to date. I've been avoiding doing the streaming, and it just seemed like such a foreign concept for me. And I guess it was kind of fueled because I always had gigs. I was working 5 to 6 nights a week, always performing. And so I'm so used to that and not needing to branch further, which is kind of a bit of a lazy thing, I think. So with all this going on, like, I've legitimately had to learn how to use this stuff, and I'm still learning a lot. But what's amazing about it, it even changes the way you perform. So last night I did a show, and I perform in front of hundreds of people all the time and don't get nervous. Like, I'm just like, okay, here, another gig. But performing on live streaming is totally different. It's one, you're in a room, like last night I was in a room where the room was silent, and there was 2 other guys on the other side of the room because we couldn't have loud music because we're in a residential area. So I'm literally just listening to myself through ears, and not having people to feed off in front of you is very different. And then it's also too, like, when I do a normal gig, you know, you might start off in the afternoon or in the early evening. So you've got a few songs to kind of like warm yourself up, get into it, you know, like play your kind of easy songs so that you just kind of feel like, oh, I'm here. And then you get into it. You kind of like, you kind of build up and down like that when you're performing live at a venue. But what I noticed with the streaming, it's like, no, you need to be on from the get-go because, you know, and I find that kind of a little bit unearthing because it's like, shit, you're on, okay, you know. So it's kind of, yeah, learning how to be on camera really is what COVID's done for a lot of us musicians. We're having to change a lot.
Awesome. So with my next question, who would be your like top covers that you haven't performed yet? Like, what song covers haven't you performed yet, and would you want to perform?
That I haven't performed?
Yeah.
I've got a list. I've got a massive list of them, to be honest. I just go through my Spotify playlist and go, oh, I've always wanted to play that song. Now's the time because I've got plenty of time to learn, you know? So I think it's like a lot of musicians are saying the same thing. Like, it's kind of a blessing in disguise because we've got all this time to reinvent ourselves. And, you know, when you are performing all the time, constantly, when you're not performing, you need to be resting, and you kind of don't feel like singing because you've just done like 30 hours through the week or whatever. And so, yeah, you tend to not progress as much as you'd like. So I think, yeah, I got heaps of songs I'm going to learn. I'm trying to get some more of that. I want to learn Blinding Lights, you know, that song by the weekend. Yeah, I really like that one. So I'm going to try and get that in the mix.
Awesome. So for my next question, what advice would you give someone who wants to actually get into creating their own music or performing like what you do?
I think it's all about networking, really. I mean, it's kind of something that's pretty hard to do at the moment. I mean, if you were a person and you're wanting to get into the gig scene in Brisbane, the best way to do that would be to go to some jam nights. There's a few of them around. There's an R&B jam at Empire. There's open format jam at Brooklyn Standard. And that's kind of like you go there, then you can meet some musicians and you're going to be able to chat, and then they can maybe invite you up for a song. And then that's how it kind of like starts. You know, but I think there's other ways now. Like realistically, if you know your craft, sending out a video would probably do you more good than the physical stuff now these days. I think like it's really changing. If you make yourself look good online, I think you'll get the gigs.
Yeah. Awesome. So for my last question, Jamie, where do you see yourself taking your music in the future? What do you want out of your music?
Well, I'm currently going through a complete change of direction. So for the last 10 years, I've been the covers singer chick and doing everything from weddings to corporate gigs to, you know, dressing up as Mrs. Santa Claus and singing All I Want for Christmas, right? And it's been fun. But I am now completely moving into the original writing and producing music. So I've been learning how to DJ, and within that, I'm learning how to produce and remix tunes. And what I want to be able to do with that is then dub my voice and start writing my own tunes, which I've been writing a lot of music, but it is with me with my keyboard. And I'm learning how to then put those skills into, you know, programs to produce music that is like what you would hear today. And yeah, that's where I'm going. And I've got a few weeks under my belt to do it. So I'm currently at the moment doing 2-a-week lessons with a guy called Mark Maxwell, which is he's a quite well-known producer and DJ around town. And so he's doing some professional lessons with me online. And then I'm also, just continuously learning, creating, just keep going. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, can I just...
By the end of it becomes good.
Yeah. Well, can I just say, Jamie, thank you so much for appearing on my show. It means a lot. Keep up the amazing work with your music and performing. You're doing such an incredible job. I just want to say that. Yeah, just keep up the amazing work. And people definitely go support Jamie Lee Foxx. So thank you one and all. And yeah, bye for now.
Hello one and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show live Instagram. So basically tonight's guest is a truly incredible singer called Laura Frank. So I'm going to give her a invite now into the live stream and have a chat with Laura. So yeah, I'm going to give her an ad now.
Hello. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks.
That's good. Sorry, it's my first time.
That's all good.
So it's nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's all good. Laura, with my first question that I want to ask you to get into the questions, what was it like creating Leave It All Behind?
Oh, let me just think back to actually writing that song. I think at the time, it might have been the time that I was going through a breakup. And so it was just a song that was kind of, you know, inspired by that. And it was a patch of grief, and you kind of like, oh, do I let this relationship go or do I push on? You know, when you're in a relationship and you get to that point where it's just really comfortable and you're kind of like, oh, I feel like maybe I should, maybe this isn't right anymore. I guess that was kind of where the song came from. and then from then I just took it to my co-writing partner, who is also my now partner, Nick, and we kind of just worked it, and it was chosen by my project manager at the time to be the song that we should release, one of the songs that we should release. And then we went and recorded it, and the guys, Jordan Power, really, who is Kasey Chambers' producer, he kind of worked his magic and made the song what it was. So without all those people, I couldn't have made it, but it was great. So that's kind of a long story about where it came from. Yeah.
Okay, so for my next question, who inspired you to get into creating your own music?
I think in the very beginning, I kind of fell into creating music through dancing, because I was a dancer first, and then I started singing through that. But it was actually my brothers. I have two brothers, two older brothers. So my middle brother, his ex-partner introduced me to Kasey Chambers, and gave me the album The Captain, which has been my most kind of influential album thus far. So I think it would have been her that kind of got me into it and made me sort of pick up a guitar. And then I actually did some lessons with her dad, who's no longer with us, unfortunately. But I think from there, it was really her that kind of started it, which is kind of weird.
Well, for my next question, onto the artist question, who would be your top 3 artists to work with in the music industry?
That's such a tough question. Okay. Oh, goodness. I mean, I would have to say that Pink would be an incredible artist to work with. Because not only does she write like super cool pop music, but she also did that album with Dallas from City and Colour, with their little joint project called You Plus Me. I don't know if anyone's listened to it, but if you haven't, go check it out. So that kind of genre, and just the way that she can write, and she's just such a tell it like it is and authentic seeming. She seems to be anyway human, and I kind of aspire to be that sort of artist. So she would definitely be one of them. Oh, this is tricky. Kasey Chambers would have to be another one, obviously, because she's a huge influence of mine, and I adore her. And oh, who do I go for my last one? I feel bad that I haven't said a male in the mix, because there are plenty of male artists that I'm influenced by. But I think I might say Lady Gaga.
Nice.
And the reason why is because of her Joanne album. Again, I don't know if anyone's listened to it, but if you haven't, it is amazing, and it's very different to her stuff that's on the radio. So I don't particularly like her early music, and I don't particularly like her latest music. But if you go and check out the album Joanne by Lady Gaga, it's very cool.
Awesome. So for my next question, Laura, what would be the positive and negative side about creating music, and how do you get over those negatives?
Let's start with the negative. I think one of the negatives for me is that you have to be really vulnerable when you're creating music. Otherwise, it just comes across as kind of inauthentic, and people don't really gel when people can see that people aren't kind of being honest. Then I feel like the music doesn't really resonate. So I think being vulnerable is a positive and a negative. For some people, it's a negative. It's really hard, but it can also be very cathartic and like soothing, I guess. Like it can solve your problems, which is good. Another negative is I constantly find myself comparing myself to other people, mostly artists, but whether that be, you know, you're scrolling through Instagram and you see other people on there and their life looks like it's awesome, or they've got songs that you think are better than yours, or any of that kind of stuff. I think that's a bit of a negative when it comes to writing and trying to get out of your own head, and out of your own way. What else is a negative? No, let's move on to the positives. Like what I said before, it can be really kind of good for the soul to write down your feelings, like whether it be getting through a breakup or any kind of good or bad moments in your life. I find writing about them really a good thing to do, but also being able to write a song rather than just journaling, I think is lovely, and I'm very grateful to have that skill. Look, I think that'll do. There's probably loads more, but
You mentioned amazing stuff anyway for that.
thank you.
So for my next question, what would be your top 3 favorite song covers to perform?
Oh, this is a good question. Okay. This is great because I didn't know what kind of questions you were going to ask before we jumped onto the chat. So I was like, I had no idea what to expect. No, so I'm totally unprepared. So there are 2 that come straight to mind. The first one is Flame Trees, which I'm sure a bunch of people have heard on my YouTube channel. We've done a little live video of it. Hey, Rowan. Sorry, just saying hello to some people. Yes, so Flame Trees is an awesome song to sing. I love singing it. And also Never Tear Us Apart by INXS would have to be one of my favourite songs to sing. And then I think I would say that there are a couple of my original songs that I love singing live. Passenger is one of them, which is one we don't sing very often.
Okay.
Because I don't think it's a particularly strong song and it's not single worthy, but I just love singing it. So that's interesting. Yeah.
So for my next question, what would you say to people wanting to create their own music, and what advice would you give those people?
Okay. I would say to just start. Just like get out of your own way and just, whether it be writing down what's on your mind, or strumming some chords on a guitar, just do something. Nothing's ever going to happen if you just like keep thinking about it in your head, and you don't do anything really. I know how frustrating it can be when you're trying to get like this perfect song or this perfect thing, and you're like, oh no, I can't do that because I feel like an idiot, or that's a stupid lyric, or, you know, there's so many times when Nick and I are writing together that we go through like just the most ridiculous song lyrics, back and forth until we get the right one. So there's no, like, take the pressure off. Don't expect to just write the most amazing song the first time. Just start. Play a note, sing a note, write a word down, and then try and build around that. And I think if you get stuck, like, try do something else that you love, or something else that inspires you. Like, at the moment, this seems really ridiculous, but Nashville, the TV show, has been really inspiring us to write music, because that's what the show's about, really. So yeah, try step away from it and come back to it, and then just, you know, do something. Don't take it so seriously.
By
Just
the way,
try.
speaking about shows, you mentioned Nashville and all that. Have you seen that brilliant and incredible Dolly Parton series?
No, I haven't seen it. It's on my list. It's on my list.
It's definitely worth the watch, and I highly recommend it for you. Yeah.
Great. I'm gonna just add it to next on the list. I've been told I need to watch Tiger King as well.
Oh, Tiger King is definitely good too. Yeah.
It is. I watched the first episode and I was like, I don't know about it, but I've been told to push on.
Yeah.
And keep going.
Nice. And so for my last question, Laura, what's next for your music, music wise, and so what's next for your music? Like, what do you want out of your music?
Well, I mean, it's really kind of hard at the moment to predict what's going to happen. With the whole pandemic, the industry has kind of, I mean, not collapsed because, you know, as musicians, we kind of overcome and find ways to work around what's thrown at us. So that's interesting. But I mean, if things go back to normal, or the way that they were at least, the plan is to record and release more music. Probably a couple of singles first, and then hopefully an EP after that, and jump back into the tour circuit, like, you know, go back to Tamworth, do some live shows. But having said that, we've been doing some live streams like this, but singing, and they have been so much fun. So I think even after all this, we will continue to do that, because it's just such a nice, it's just a really nice atmosphere and energy and way to kind of spend a night and sing and not have that pressure of, you know, being in a venue or anything like that. And people can leave and come as they please, and they're in the comfort of their own home. And yeah, I think we'll definitely do that. But recording and playing live is on the cards. Yeah, and just keep writing. Just going to keep churning out tunes and see what sticks.
Well, can I just say thank you so much, Laura, for coming onto my show. It means so much. Keep up the amazing and incredible work with your music. Your music is truly inspirational, and I just want to say never stop being your amazing self, and keep up the amazing work. So
thank you so much.
Welcome to the Galaxy Man Show. I am here with, I'll let you introduce yourself and explain a bit of what you do.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jake. My name's Mark Furs. I'm a singer. I'm a musician. Currently on that show, The Voice. Done a bit of acting in my time as well.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions, Mark. So for my first question, what's the experience like being on The Voice for 2020 this year?
Yeah, it's funny thinking about that, like, because I watched last year and I've seen the show and I know the experience of what it's like to watch the show, but then when you're on the show, man, it's quite huge when you're there. The studio is massive. The band is incredible and sounds just so good, and the lighting show is crazy, and the energy of the whole thing is it's a really big experience when you're there. So you see these people getting overwhelmed on the TV, and they cry in their interviews, and they get really nervous up on stage, and you're sitting at home in your lounge room and you're like, come on, get on with it. But then when you're actually there, you kind of realize, wow, this is very heightened. It's a big experience. I've loved it. It's been really wonderful.
I have to say, by the way, I loved your audition. Your audition was incredible, and you smashed it in your audition. Speaking about the auditions, when the judges turned for you, what was it like when the judges turned? And were you wanting to go with Kelly in the first place, or because you and Guy are friends and stuff? Like, did you expect to go with Kelly or Guy instead?
Yeah, so the thanks, by the way. I'm glad you enjoyed it, brother. It was I had a lot of fun too. It was a really great experience getting up there. I was so nervous. I don't remember being that nervous in my life. It was just intense. But it was, as soon as I started singing, I was good. I was kind of good. I got that first note out and I was like, okay, cool. Now I can just relax and enjoy the rest. And I kind of don't remember as it was happening, like I was just doing it, and then there's people facing me, and it was loud, and then it all ended, and I was like, oh, okay, back to reality again. It's time to talk to people. So it all came out the way I wanted it to, pretty much. So I'm really pleased that you enjoyed it and other people enjoyed it. And yeah, as far as the which coach to go with, it's I was honestly happy with it, with anyone. I was so nervous that no one was going to turn, and the fact that they all turned was genuinely something I wasn't really prepared for. I would have liked to go on Guy's team because we're friends, but then again, I thought about it and I kind of played it out and thought, look, if I do go on his team, then it's going to be weird. It's going to be people already. I understand that there's like a conflict of interest, and people might think, oh, it's not fair, and it's not fair to him. And I kind of was like, look, if I do well on the show, if I do well on the show at all, I want it to be because of my singing, not because of the fact that I'm friends with one of the coaches. So I just I didn't go with him because I just, wanted to eliminate that and just keep it about my singing and not anything else. So yeah, that was why I went with Kelly. Plus Kelly's great. I've got nothing against Kelly. She's awesome, man. So yeah.
Awesome. So for my next question, if you could be the winner of the Voice for 2020 this year, what would you want out of your music?
Yeah, I think what I really want to do, and it's a weird time to be talking about this because there's no gigs going on, but for me, I just want to play. I want to play shows to people who want to hear the music. I want to write songs. I want to get my band on the road. I want people to enjoy the music that I'm making, and if I can play to a room full of people that want to be there and hear the songs, then I'm winning, man. That's really it. Like I've done quite a bit of live music in my time and toured with a couple of bands, and it's a really fun experience. So if I can get back into that, and especially when you have people in the crowd that are actually singing your own music back to you, it's wonderful. It's a really great connection with way to connect with strangers and make them feel something. And yeah, so that's what I'm after, dude.
Awesome. So for my next question, there's actually a rumor out there. It's home and away related. And supposedly there's a spin-off in the works, and you could be one of the familiar faces could be returning for this spin-off. Is that true or false in your opinion?
Look, dude, you know more than I do. I hadn't heard anything about that. To be honest, I'm not really very in the loop. Yeah. But I can tell you that I know nothing about that. Maybe it'll happen. That sounds kind of cool. I was thinking back about my time on Home and Away and getting paid to be up at Palm Beach and work in such a beautiful place. And I made a lot of really great friends on that show, and the experience was wonderful. I was pretty young. I was straight out of high school, so I didn't really know what I was doing. But yeah, it's I wonder how a spin-off would go. It'd probably be pretty good. Yeah, never say never, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay, awesome. Just wanted to clear the air. Yeah. So for my next question, who would be your top 3 music artists that you would want to work with?
Good one. So I really love Tom Morello, the guitarist from Rage Against the Machine and Audio Slave. His riffage is some of the best riffage. I really love his style and his groove and his guitar tone, and yeah, I'd love to write some songs with Tom Morello. That'd be great. Who else have we got? I dig Dave Grohl. Dave Grohl's he's got some pretty cool stuff. I mean, he's been doing it a while too. He knows what he's doing. That'd be fun. I think it'd be fun to just hang out with Dave Grohl as well. I think he seems like a bit of a larrikin, so that'd be cool. And then maybe someone like David Coverdale from Whitesnake, the singer. Like he's pretty ancient these days, and he's seen a lot. Like he was in Deep Purple way back, and Whitesnake's still going, and he's still hitting those notes that he was back when he was 20. And I really learned a lot about singing from listening to him and kind of trying to emulate his style and that sort of thing. So I'd love to pick his brain and just hang with him. So yeah, that'd be. So who we got? Dave Grohl, Tom Morello, and David Coverdale. It's an interesting dinner party.
Awesome. So for my last question, Mark, who basically who inspired you to get into acting, and what advice would you give someone who wants to get into the musical acting industry? And lastly, like, what are the positives and negatives into the acting industry, and how do you get through those negatives?
Yeah, okay. So my old man is probably the one who inspired me to get into the industry. He was a dentist. He's retired now, but he every year, I grew up in central west New South Wales, a town called Orange, and every year he would do one of the Orange Theatre Company's productions, so musical theatre, and I would go and watch him when I was a kid. And then the time came along for the next one they were doing was Oliver, and I was 10 at the time. And Dad asked me, he said, why don't you audition for the show as well? Because I'm going to. So I thought, okay. So I auditioned and got the part of Oliver. So it turned out, that's when I found out, oh, maybe I can sing. And I enjoyed watching my dad act and sing. And he got the part as well. So we were in that show together. And ever since then, I'd been in all the school plays in high school and in primary school as well, and singing and acting. I can't dance, but unless I have a few too many drinks, but then you don't want to see it anyway. So yeah, singing and acting, and that's, I guess, where it all started. And the other question was what advice would I have? So the pros and cons are, I mean, it's when you're doing it, like when I'm in an acting job, or when I'm playing a show or doing, writing some songs and that kind of thing, it's just the best thing in the world. If that's what your heart desires, it's wonderful. You get to affect people, you get to connect with people, and it's really fulfilling in that sense. It's not a job. It doesn't feel it in any way like a job. Like I've had a few crappy jobs in my time, but it doesn't feel like that. It's a lot of fun. But on the flip side, it can be a really tough industry. You just don't get to do it as much as you would like to be doing it. That's the reality of especially being an actor. The funny thing is, that's kind of why I make so much music. One, because it's something that I would be doing anyway, and I love doing it. But the other thing is, there's also a lot of downtime between acting. Sometimes it's years between jobs that I get. So I'm just making music, working on my production and writing and recording and rehearsing with the band if I have one at the time. And I would be doing that anyway, but pursuing the acting thing is something I haven't given up. So yeah, there just happens to be a whole lot of downtime. So I guess that's the downside is, when you're working, you get paid all this money and you get to play dress ups and do all kinds of fun stuff like that. Just the same thing when you're involved in a show, like a singing show. It's all lights and glamour, and it's great fun. But there's just no steady. It's real hard to get steady work, So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, it answered it. Amazing. So can I just say, lastly, I actually watched this incredible show that you were in. I think you were like about 5 or 6 years old in it. Called Outriders. And what was it like being on that?
Dude, it's funny. I was 14 on that. I was I was a late bloomer. I was, but yeah, that was the first. That's hilarious that you saw that, dude. Not many people remember that. That was the first kind of TV thing, anything outside of theatre that I ever got. So I'd been doing primary school plays. And someone came to Orange and saw the play, and their daughter was a casting director, and she invited me and another girl from the play to go and audition for this TV show that her daughter was casting. Said, I saw these kids in this play, and I think they've got potential. Do you want to cast them? So we went and auditioned, and they liked me, and I managed to get. They gave me the role for this TV show, which turned out to be Outriders. But I didn't have an agent. I'd never done an audition. I didn't know what I was doing. I was 13 years old. So that was the very first thing I did. And then I got an agent from that. And then that's how the ball got rolling, you know, with the whole entertainment industry. And I'm still got the same agent. And yeah, still doing the same thing, man, trying to get that thing happening. But yeah, the Outriders, that was a trip, dude. That was funny, that show.
Well, can I just say thank you so much, Mark, for appearing on my show. It really means a lot. Everyone, definitely go support Mark on The Voice Australia. You can check out the battles this tonight on Sunday, 7 o'clock, Channel 9. Yeah, as I said again, thank you so much, Mark. It means so much. And
Oh,
yeah,
my pleasure, man. Thanks for having me. It's been great.
good.
Feeling like a bullet, jumping out of gun. I feel like a winner. I feel like a one. You're doing something to me. You're doing something strange. Jump back, talk to me, woman. You made me wanna make a baby, baby. Come in, baby. Coming for you, yeah. Loaded, shooting my shot tonight. Coming, baby. Coming for you. Pull my trigger, let me blow your mind. Supernatural woman, a supernatural freak. Hot damn, popping like a pistol, mama. You got me down on my knees, begging please. I'm coming, baby. Got it for you. Loaded, shoot my shot tonight. Coming, baby. Got it for you. Pull my trigger, let me blow your mind.
Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for today's guest is this incredible singer and songwriter called Hillary Reese. So I'm about to give Hillary an ad into the live now and have a chat with Hillary about her incredible music. So yeah, here we go.
Hi.
Hi Hillary, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Thank you for coming on to my show, by the way. It means a lot.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So to people that don't know who you are, Hillary, if you can give a bit of backstory about who you are and what you do, and then I'll dive right into the questions.
For sure. Hi, y'all. My name is Hillary Reese. I'm a 14-year-old country singer from Mississippi. My passion is old school country with a little bit of a modern twist. And yeah, I'm super excited to be on here today. So thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Well, we'll dive right into the questions now, Hillary. So for my very first question, you actually created this incredible song called Woman Upstairs. What was it like creating this incredible song, and what was the story behind this song?
Well, thank you so much for saying it's incredible. But Woman Upstairs, we wrote it, let's see, last February. And I wrote it with the incredibly talented Pete Salas. He has written with Ronnie Dunn, and he wrote Shut Up and Fish by Maddie and Tay, which was like my childhood anthem. But we kind of came in there and we were like, okay, we want a really strong song, and we want it to be kind of directed for women so that they feel empowered and that they know that they can take the reins on their own lives a little bit. But we went in there, we were like, let's just write a strong kick butt song. And I think we did that. And we kind of had this whole idea that you're not going to control our lives anymore. It was kind of almost like this fairy tale, this imaginary world we had going on in our heads. And I think we brought that to life in a really, really cool way. We said, what if we make it kind of like the woman upstairs, or if God was a woman, and make it in the sense that we would have the control. But you kind of realize throughout the song that that doesn't need to happen, that you can have your own control regardless.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So with another song you created, this song called You Ain't Woman Enough to Take My Man. What was that like for you, creating that song? What was the meaning behind that song?
Well, the song was actually originally recorded by one of my icons, Loretta Lynn. And she wrote this song back in like the 60s or 70s, something like that. And I had grown up listening to that song my entire life. So I'd always sang it, and I've always held that song. That song has held a really special place in my life, but also my artistry. I mean, Loretta Lynn shaped me definitely as an artist, along with Tammy Wynette and Dolly Parton. So I kind of had this idea, what if we make it a little bit more Hillary-ish, as I like to say? And what if, we make it a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more kick butt? What if we add in, some electric guitar, all kinds of stuff that I absolutely love, but still keeping the old schoolness of the song. So I went to my producer, Kent Wells, who is Dolly Parton's producer of 28 years. So I'm so incredibly lucky to work with him, and my management, Paula Ann and Ablaze Entertainment. And we had this idea, and we said, let's just make it a little bit more modern, but still keep that old school feel, because who doesn't love a song redone for a new generation? And I thought that would be just the perfect song to do it. So he did an amazing job redoing it, and I couldn't have been happier with the outcome.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You actually performed When the Smoke Clears. What was it like creating that amazing song? Because I saw your performance of your live performance on YouTube. And I was like, wow, I was like completely mind blown of that song. What was it like creating that song?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, I wrote that song when I was 11 years old, believe it or not. And I wrote it with Tamara Stewart. We kind of went into that, and it was right after the Parkland shooting in Florida. And so it was just a really, really tough time. I think it was like a couple months after, but I could be mistaken on the dates. But we were like, let's just write something that hopefully can inspire people, but also show them, kind of what our world has become, and wake people up a little bit. So it was kind of like, okay, let's wake up, but still have hope in the same sense. So we wrote that song, and I think it's just became a whole new meaning. It gets deeper and deeper every chance it can get. I mean, with COVID, with so many different things, and it applies to so many different things in so many areas of my life, and I think everyone's life. But When the Smoke Clears, it's just a song that I think it'll last forever, because the meaning stays forever. But we recorded that video of November of last year, so it's been a whole year. I got my band together, and just got a couple of musicians together, and we thought, let's just make a really simple video, yet effective video. And I think we did exactly that. And it was very simple, but I think it needed a simple video for the song, so the words could speak louder than the video, just because the words in that song, they really do say a lot.
Well, can I just say, it was incredible. Like, When the Smoke Clears was truly incredible, and you are truly very, very talented, Hillary, and you got a bright future ahead of yourself. I just want to say that first up.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So with my next question, what does music mean to you as a person, especially like in times like during COVID and like hard times like this?
Well, I mean, I think music has kind of always been embedded in me. And whether that was going to church and listening, to the hymns and singing along to that, or listening to the radio. I mean, the radio was such a big part of me and my brother's upbringing. We had it on 24/7, and it was either country or pop, or it could be anything. And I think that really shaped us both as artists, because he's one as well, shaped us both in the sense that we grew up listening to every type of music. Obviously, country is my passion, but I'm influenced by so many different types. And then with COVID, I think it kind of took everybody and just shook them up a little bit and put everybody on their head. With COVID, you know, we stopped playing shows, obviously, and the world was kind of just put on pause. So it really gave me a chance to dive deeper into writing. But also in the same sense, it was a great time because you could look deeper into writing, but it was also a bad time because you couldn't go out and experience these things. So as a songwriter, it was kind of, you know, all over the place, and at different moments you were doing different things and looking at it from different perspectives. But I think that's the cool thing about music, and especially music during COVID. You can look at it from so many different angles and write from so many different angles, and that's exactly what this world needs, is more writing and, you know, more songwriters and more perspectives. So I think COVID just shook everybody up, but in good ways and bad ways.
Onto that, what have you learned about yourself as a person during COVID this year, actually?
Well, I think a lot. I think I realized I really just started figuring out the music I want to make during COVID, and during quarantine and all of that. And I just really dove deeper into listening to music. Being a fan of music is what I truly am at heart. I'll always be a fan first. So it really gave me a chance to sit down and say, what type of music do you want to make? What do you want to say as an artist? What do you want to do as a person? And look at it from all of those different types of ways. And I think I grew the most in my artistry. But it really just gave me this cool chance to take a pause. But I started doing a lot too with the SOS for Life Foundation, the number 4. And you can go check them out. But they're a foundation that's all about mental health within youth and mental adversities, such as bullying, depression, substance abuse, anything you can think of, cyberbullying, bullying. And they're basically here to be a little light and to say you are not alone. So I really think they helped me a lot during quarantine because we were doing so many amazing things and connecting with so many amazing people. And, you know, COVID really just helped me in that way to know how big our world is, but how small it is in the same sense, with Zoom calls and conference calls and virtual concerts and things like that. So I'm really blessed to be a part of the SOS for Life Foundation.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. Who inspired you to get into creating music in the first place?
Woo! I think there's a long, long list. But I don't know. I guess just watching people sing in my church, but also shows like Hannah Montana and movies like High School Musical. I saw them sing, so I just started singing. And there's all kinds of cringy videos of me as a kid, like making up my own hymns from church and all kinds of stuff. But I think shows like that and, you know, just seeing the people like that in front of me. I mean, Hannah Montana, hands down my favorite Disney show. But it really did. It showed me, okay, you can sing. And then it just became deeper and deeper, I think, when I started, you know, getting on YouTube and looking up karaoke tracks. And I started singing every song I could and performing every place I could. So I definitely say the people that inspired me were, you know, Carrie Underwood, Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, Tammy Wynette, Martina McBride, George Strait, Chris Stapleton. People like that, I think, really have set the bar that we all try to reach every single day.
Awesome. Well, I actually have a show to recommend for you to watch, music-wise. Definitely check out, if you haven't seen it already, it's on Netflix, Julie and the Phantoms. You would actually love that show. It's truly incredible, and you would really dig it. So, yeah.
Julie and the Phantoms.
Julie and the Phantoms, yes.
Okay, I'm definitely going to go check that out because I've been needing a new show to watch, and I'm all about watching shows 24/7. I'm a reality TV buff, so it's definitely not healthy, but...
Well, you'll definitely love it. It's like the songs in Julie and the Phantoms are incredible.
I'm all about soundtracks now. All about soundtracks.
Oh, yeah. Well, for my very next question, Hillary, if you could work with any top 3 music artists in the industry, who would they be and why?
Whew. I'm going to have to say, this is such a hard one too. Just picking between all of my favorite artists, and, you know, they change so much. I'm going to say Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, and Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, and Chris Stapleton.
Nice.
Those are my three. And that's so hard to pick that.
Awesome. So for my very next question, what are the positives and negatives into the acting industry? I mean, into the acting or music industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. There are a lot of evil things in this industry, but there's also a lot of great people too. And I have found such a good support system behind me, like Paula Ann of Blaze Entertainment, Kent Wells. But you've got to find your right people. And that's probably the best advice I could give somebody, and trust your gut. But I think I persevere through all of the negative and bad things in this industry by just leaning on my support system. And also, I say this 24/7, but you've got to be here because you love it. Because the money's not always going to be great, if there at all. You're not going to be famous overnight if you're ever going to be famous. You've got to be here because you truly love it. And I think that's really what helps me throughout it, is that I have a true love and passion for music and singing and songwriting and playing piano and playing guitar. I mean, that's really why I'm in this, is for my music. I'm not in it for the fame or any of the other things, you know, people can try and be in it for. I'm truly in this because I love singing and making music. And I think that's really what helps me push the bull crap away. Sorry, I can't speak today. Push the bull crap away.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. Why should people listen to your music, to people that haven't heard your music before?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that hopefully sets me apart is I'm really a fan of old school country and true country music. But I do have a modern twist on it as well. So you're gonna hear influences from the past, hopefully, like Martina, like Loretta, Dolly. I mean, I idolize those people. So I try to bring old school elements and mix it with new elements. So I love me some fiddle, but I love electric guitar. And I think when you get those two together, you're golden. So, I mean, that's definitely, I think, something that hopefully I can bring new to the table, is just my own version of old school mixed with new. So for all of my old school country fans, I got you.
So on to my very last question, Hillary. So with after COVID and stuff, so what is next for you, music wise?
Well, I do have a good bit of surprises up my sleeve coming very soon. I do have a new Christmas song coming out November 27th, the day after Thanksgiving, and it's called Christmas by My Side, acoustic version. We wanted to do a very simple Christmas song, just because I think Christmas is mainly super simple, and it's about you and your family and Jesus. So I wanted to keep it simple, but I think now is the time too where I'm growing as an artist most in my songwriting and my instrument playing and the production side of it as well. So I think next you're really going to start hearing music that it's very picky on my end. I'm picking music right now and writing music right now that is different from anything I've ever done, but it's exactly what I want to do in the future. So I think you're going to hear more and more of just who I am as a person and what type of music I want to make.
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much, Hillary, for making an appearance on my show. It means so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. To people that haven't seen Hillary, definitely go give her a follow. Definitely go give her an amazing support, because she's one truly incredible singer, performer. Definitely give her the amazing support, because her music's incredible. So thank you again, Hillary. You are truly incredible. Never give up your dreams and goals. So thank you so much again. Any last final thoughts or anything that you would like to say to people?
Whew. Well, I mean, I'm Hillary Reese, and I think the main thing you're going to see about me is hopefully I'm a genuine person, and hopefully we can be best friends. So come check me out if you want to. But again, thank you so much for having me. I truly, truly appreciate it.
I'm just a child in the land of the free, and I've got that southern blood just running through me. I was raised to respect the world around me, but I was born to speak my mind. And I've got answers I'm longing to find. Who's gonna take a stand? Who's gonna shout out loud? Who's gonna save the world we're living in now? And what's it gonna take to lead with faith and not fear? When the smoke clears, do you ever cry at the evening news and wonder why it was them and not you? I'm grateful for this life I'm living, but I pray to the Lord above can show us the way through His love. Who's gonna take a stand? Who's gonna shout out loud? Who's gonna save the world we're living in now? And what's it gonna take to lead with faith, not fear? When the smoke clears, the past is the past, and what's done is done. But from now on, we need to rise as one. Are you gonna take a stand? Are you gonna shout out loud? Are you gonna save the world we're living in now? And what's it gonna take to lead with faith and not fear? When the smoke clears, when smoke clears, I'm just a child in the land of the free.
Hello one and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for my first guest on my interview show is this incredible singer and songwriter called Presley Tennant. She has been on The Voice back in 2019 and she has really incredible songs. So I'm about to give Presley an ad into the live now and have a chat with Presley about her music career and what her music career has been like. So here we go. Hi Presley, how's it going?
Good, how about you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Thank you for coming on to my show, by the way. It means a lot.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So to people that don't know who you are, if you can give a bit of backstory on who you are and what you do, and then I'll dive right into the questions.
So if you guys are just joining, my name is Presley Tennant. I'm an 18-year-old singer-songwriter from Norco, California. I started off singing very young. I was in a girl group when I was 10 years old, and I was completely fell in love with this whole industry and the whole music industry, things like that. And so it led me to
The Voice, which I was on Team Kelly of season 16, and that was the most incredible experience. And ever since then, I have made my switch to country, but I am so excited for it. And now I'm taking whatever opportunity comes up my way, and I'm so grateful.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions now, Presley. So for my very first question, as you mentioned about The Voice, you were on The Voice back in 2019, Team Kelly. What was that experience like for you, getting to be on The Voice? And yeah.
Honestly, The Voice was the most incredible experience I've ever had, I will say. It was so liberating, I feel like is one of like the best words to describe it. It really allowed myself to find who I am as an artist, and I am so grateful for that. I got to be amongst those who are top tier musicians of just the entire music industry, any genre. It was some of the most genuine people and the most talented people, and I learned so much from them. And I don't know, it's just incredible. I was spending time with so many incredible musicians. We'd have jam sessions till like 11 p.m. every night. We had like curfew at like 11, so we got to shut it down. But other than that, it was awesome.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. What has your music career been like since like after The Voice and stuff?
Honestly, it's been kind of like a whirlwind. I started on the show as like a pop artist and came off the show as a country artist, and it's kind of very eye-opening to me because it kind of was one of those things where I was doing a lot of soul searching. Pop just didn't seem to be who I was. As I continued on the show, I kind of was able to understand that and understand like the whole side of me and saying that this, if I go a different route, is this going to make me happy? And as soon as I took one like little look at like going into the whole country route, I knew that that was like exactly where I was supposed to be.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You actually have this really incredible song out called Temporary. What was it like creating this song, and what does temporary mean to you as a person?
Temporary was my first debut single as a country artist, and I worked with the most amazing people. I worked with Kent Wells, who works very closely with Dolly Parton and many other phenomenal artists, and I wrote the song with Liz Ann Hill, and she is absolutely incredible and one of the most genuine souls. But the song, it actually means a lot to me. It's kind of funny because I wrote the song, I just graduated high school this year, and I never really wanted to like venture out and like try to like hang out with somebody and get to know somebody as in a relationship standpoint. And so once COVID happened, and everything started to die down, I became less busy. Shows were canceled. I found myself kind of venturing out, and someone messaged me that I knew from mutual friends. And so I started hanging out with him, and I definitely started to catch feelings very fast. And so we spent all summer together, and then all of a sudden I knew that he was going to be leaving for school, and I thought like that was going to be the end of it. So I wrote the song basically saying that if this is temporary, even though that this is temporary, I don't want to change any of the memories because I'm having such a great time.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You actually have created this other song called The Woods. That was actually a really fantastic song, by the way, and music video too. So what was it like creating The Woods and getting to make this incredible music video?
So that one's actually a funny story too. I want to say 4 years ago, I believe it's 4 years ago, I got a piano for Christmas, like a little keyboard. And I was so excited because like I was starting to learn like piano in school. And so I was on my keyboard the entire day, and I wrote The Woods, but it was like a musical theater like song. It turned out that way. And so I sent it to my producer, and he was like, yo, we got to change this. Like, this is not it. And I was like, all right, cool. So, but I went into the studio, and we really kind of took everything as like, we stripped it all down, and it was just the bare minimum. And so I came in and I sang the song, and we loved how the vocals turned out in that whole sense. And so my producer at the time, David Lee Brandt, who's also amazing, he kind of structured the entire song around the feeling that I was grasping towards through the lyrics. And so that was really cool. And I will say that's like one of the first songs like I ever really like truly wrote by myself, spent so much time and pride on. So that's like looking back on it, it's really awesome to see that.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You have also created this song called Me and You. What was it like creating Me and You, and what does this song mean to you also?
That song, okay, this one, I worked with Adam Watts, and he is incredible. And it was like such a fun experience. It was also like one of like my first writing sessions, like outside of my little group that I was with that I used to write with all the time. So it was like a new experience for me, and I am so thankful for that. And it was honestly still probably one of my favorite songs that I've ever gotten to be in the writing session with. Just because, I don't know, it's such like a more mature feeling than all of like my older stuff that I have. Obviously, I was young at the time. I was 13 to 16. I mean, I'm 18 now. I'm still fairly young, but I feel like looking back at it, I'm definitely way more mature. And so like that was like the first one where I was able to like kind of step out and be like, okay, like this is me. Like this is like adulthood type of thing. So
Cool. So on to my very next question. You were actually created this song called BFF, which I have also checked out the music video of too. That was really incredible. What was it like creating BFF and getting to create this music video?
that was honestly, wow, tongue tied. That one was actually super fun. That one I wrote a while ago. That is, dang, it's been a while. I would say that. I think I was 14 when I wrote it. It was about someone that I knew, and we had an incident, and I didn't know how else to get my feelings out there, so I wrote a song, and I feel like everyone can relate to it. I mean, everyone has a BFF, but like sometimes they do be the fake ones. It's my best fake friend. It's a little wordplay. But no, and then the music video was super fun. It was all my friends from school, which is really nice. I was first time going back to like actual school because I was homeschooled throughout middle school. So I went to a performing arts high school, and everyone kind of does the whole performing aspect already. So it was really nice for them to come in and be supportive and drive the long ways. It was a little out of the distance. But I don't know, that one was super fun. Looking back at it, it's such a great memory.
It kind of gave me Britney Spears kind of vibes, like with the hop kind of
like the hit me baby one more time type of thing in the hallway with the schoolgirl outfit.
Yeah, incredible. It was really incredible, by the way.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. So on to my very next question. So you actually have created this other song called Outfit of the Day. What was that like?
You're bringing back all the old ones. I have not listened to those in so long. Hey, okay, this is just going to be a little short explanation. Outfit of the day. You got a cute outfit on, and you just want to stunt a little bit. You do the little hashtag OOTD. So that's what that song is about.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. Who inspired you as a person to get into singing and performing in the first place?
This one, I feel like stems back to when I was super young. I will say that Kelly Clarkson was one of my idols and still is one of my main idols. I mean, she is the most incredible woman I've ever met, and she taught me so much. And the opportunities that she gave me and allowed me to sing with her, like she invited me up to Vegas to sing with her after the finale of The Voice, and it was my 17th birthday. So she sang me like happy birthday and brought me out a cake on stage. So she's definitely has been one of my major influences, as well as people like Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert. Very powerhouse vocals. Demi Lovato. It kind of all ranges. I have so many different people that I looked up to for so many different reasons. I mean, I can go on and on. There's so many. Like Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Etta James. I love old music, especially like old soul kind of music. That definitely, I will say, is one of like my favorite things. And it's just the history behind everything and how so immersed every single artist was in that like time decade was in their music. And so I feel like music kind of strayed away from that, but now it's making its way back into the real meanings and the true deep feelings of where everything is rooted.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. What have you learned about yourself as a person especially during COVID this year?
I have learned that number one, I can't take myself too seriously, and that boy, I miss performing. Oh my gosh, I miss it so much. I feel like you have to have so many different outlets, especially during that crazy time. A lot of people are so used to going out with friends and keeping themselves distracted from things. But I used to hang out with my friends all the time. That was one thing that I really missed as well, is that I couldn't go and hang out with everybody. I mean, I was stuck in my house for months. I FaceTime as my best friend. I FaceTimed everybody till like 3 in the morning every single night. But I feel like everyone has their own different ways of doing things. And my outlet of getting through, I guess, tough times, or if I want to be distracted or I want to do something fun, mine was really definitely performing. And that is one thing that I took for granted, I will say, because everyone kind of thought, oh, this is going away after 2 weeks. I mean, I know I had spring break, and I thought, I was like, oh, like our spring break got like pushed back like another 2 weeks, party time, I get a 3-week vacation. And that wasn't the case. It ended up being like, that was it, you weren't going back to school anymore. And I was like, oh, okay, high school gone, all right. I mean, I was barely there already. I was on independent study majority of the time. So it's not like it was something new, and it was easy. It was an easy transition, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of found myself as an artist too, because I had so much free time, and I was able to really dive in and focus on my craft. I mean, I have my guitar sitting here, and I would stay up all the time as well writing. I didn't have much going on, so I had to find different ways to keep my time busy. That was kind of like a rambled answer, but that's the main point.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing. So on to my very next question. You're actually a part of this SOS Foundation. What's it like being a part of this SOS Foundation?
I am eternally grateful for being a part of this foundation. It means the absolute world to me, and something that I stand so closely behind. And I feel like everyone kind of has their moments where they're feeling down or they aren't at the top of their game type of thing. Especially with COVID, everyone has kind of had to take a step back from reality and had to find themselves in that sense, and because they weren't around people. I mean, like I said, some people's distractions and the ways to get through their day was hanging out with people or talking or going to work and things like that. Something to keep them motivated, because COVID is here. They had to take a step back from everything, and that could really affect someone's mental health. And so that's why I, especially during these times, am so grateful for SOS, because it is the one platform where we're able to let people know that they aren't alone, and that if they want to talk, that we want to listen to them, and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And not a lot of people realize that, but we do these things every Tuesday. We do Instagram lives, and we go on there and tell a little bit about our story and who we are. Most of us are musicians, so we all kind of sing a few songs just to kind of like get everybody in there. But other than that, we guest a few people that want to come on our lives and tell their stories to our audience, and let them know that they aren't alone. We also do amazing things like have auctions, and you can donate on our website. And those donations go to different things that we pay for people's therapy if they can afford it. We want people to get the help that they need, and we want them to thrive. And so that's why I stand so closely behind SOS.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. If you could work with any top 3 music artists in the industry, who would they be and why?
That's a hard one. That is a hard one. I could not pick just 3. Okay. My top 2 would be Carrie Underwood and Miranda Lambert. I absolutely adore them. The most incredible vocals as well as writers. They are incredible. I'm going to name probably 4 more, because that's just what's going to happen.
Fine.
Chris Stapleton, Luke Combs, Riley Green. I mean, I'd love to work with Dolly. That would be incredible. Any of the greats. Ashley McBryde. It is so, their musician and their artistry really shows who they are. Not only as an artist, but they show who they are as a person, because I feel like there's so many different times where people are on stage and they're one person, they come off stage and they're another. But I feel like in country, everything is just so like they're together in one, like the best of both worlds. And so something I really admire. So I could go on and on even more with how many different musicians would want to work with, but those are definitely my top favorites that I would love to.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So what are the positives and negatives into the music industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
I feel like everyone has their fair share of ups and downs. When you're up, you feel like you're on top of the world, but when you come down and there's so many different negative things happening, it could feel like the end of the world. But it's just how you take those negatives and how you let it affect you. And so one thing that I've done is that I almost took it as motivation. And if someone said that I couldn't do something, I wanted to prove them wrong. If somebody was trying to hold me back, I was going to break free and just do my own thing, because ultimately I have to make myself happy at the end of the day. And I feel like that's most important. And a lot of people, I've learned that throughout the years, is that you can't please everybody. You can't. And that is one thing that's a hard pill to swallow, because as someone who performs and wants everyone to enjoy everything, not everyone's going to, and that's okay. It's totally okay. And so I feel like through the negatives, you have to, as long as you're making yourself happy, that's the ultimate goal.
Awesome. So on to my very last question. So what's next for you after COVID-wise with music and stuff?
I am currently working on an album EP that is supposed to be coming out very, very soon, as well as during this holiday season. I am doing a little holiday concert, a virtual concert with SOS that is happening very soon. You can go to the SOS for Life official page and you can check that out, as well as doing just different interviews and staying busy making music. But as soon as some restrictions are lifted and it is safe to go perform, you can definitely be looking out for that, because I have stuff in the works.
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much, Presley, for coming onto my show. It really means a lot. Everyone, whoever hasn't listened to Presley Tennant, she's one truly incredible singer and performer. Definitely go give her amazing and incredible support. She's truly incredible. Any last final words or anything that you would like to say to people on the show?
If you guys are coming from his page, you can go follow me at Presley Tennant, which is PresleyTennant, and make sure to stay tuned. I have so many exciting things, and I'm so excited to share them with everybody. And thank you so much again for having me.
So this is where I start. I gotta go so far, down the hill, through the woods, where the scary things are. I met this creature. He said, nice to meet ya. I said, I'm sorry, sir, gotta get on my way before the day ends. Gotta find my way, a way to escape this figure to my happy place. It's where I'm going, I won't give up, no, I don't need luck. Following the path, sticking to the road, into the woods is where I'll go. Now excuse me, sir, step out the way. Could talk to me later, but it's not today. Running in the woods, away from it all. Feel the hatred, so big, so small. Oh, turning back, I'm not holding on to that. Just me by myself, not a care in the world. Look all around, so misunderstood. Now I know I'm like Little Red Riding, starting my journey. No need to worry, the scary things are far behind me. But what's that sound shaking through the ground? No concern, please don't chase me down. Run fast, can't slow down, can't go back, there's no time now. Following the path, sticking to the road, into the woods is where I'll go. Now excuse me, world, step out the way. You can try me later, but it's not today. Running in the woods, away from it all. The fear, the hatred, something big, so small. Oh, no turning back, I'm not holding on to that. Just me by myself, not a care in the world. Look all around, it's so misunderstood. Now I know I'm like Little Red Riding.
Hello one and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So for my guest now is this incredible singer and songwriter, Vince Thomas, who has created this incredible collaboration song called Midnight Blue with the incredible and amazing Stephanie Angelini. I'm about to invite Vince on the Galaxy Man Show now to have a chat and talk about Midnight Blue and talk about other previous songs that he's created. So yeah, here we go. Hey, Vince. What's up?
Oh, not much, man. How about you?
Yeah, nothing much really. Just getting ready for this interview.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
So thank you for coming onto my show, Vince. It's a pleasure having you on my show. So to people that don't know who you are, Vince, if you can give a bit of backstory about who you are, and then we'll dive right into the questions.
Sure, sounds good. My name is Vince Thomas. Originally, I'm from a small town in Columbus, Ohio, but I'm grown up, moving around pretty much my whole life, and I love doing singing. And since then, I didn't take it seriously until about roughly 12 years old. And some scouts approached me and wanted me to go do some talent stuff over in LA, and I went out there with my family to do it. And we've been here ever since.
Awesome. We'll dive right into the questions now, Vince. So for my very first question, so you have actually done a collaboration song called Midnight Blue. With the incredible Stephanie Angelini. What was it like coming up with the idea of creating this song called Midnight Blue? And what were you guys, how did you guys come up with the idea of creating Midnight Blue?
That's funny, man, because when we were doing that song, it actually came about through a mutual friend that I work with, Preston Glass, who's also a producer that Stephanie also worked with. I was working on another song with him and Russ Regan called Anything and Everything. And Russ Regan was the one who basically sort of discovered Elton John and brought him here to the States to, to blow him up. And then from there, in terms of how the song Midnight Blue came about, Stephanie was kind of just writing a bunch of songs, and one of them that she presented to Joe Mendica, who's the producer and songwriter on this song as well. And he's like, oh man, he's like, I'm trying to think like who could we get to like do this song, and they're going about it back and forth with each other, and then they saw my stuff that I did with Russ, and Joe's like, well, why don't we get Vince and see if he wants to join in and do a collaboration? I'm like, dude, that's awesome. Let's do it. And I never had an Australian collaboration. So for me, that was a huge honor especially from the States to Australia too. So, and with the internet nowadays, it makes it so much easier to do stuff now. And I think the title Midnight Blue was mostly, it was mostly what Stephanie had in mind. And I was kind of like trying to feed off of what her idea, her vision was. And we both like co-wrote the song. We were just like writing down like which line would fit best with like the verse, pre-chorus, chorus. And it turned out amazing with how all of us did it together, Joe, Stephanie, and I, and we're really happy with it.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I have to say, I actually listened to Midnight Blue, and it was truly incredible, and you guys have done such a fantastic job with making this incredible song. So I just want to say thank you to both you and Stephanie, because you guys did such an incredible job. So thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. And it's not just one, there's two versions.
Oh, yes, there is. Yes.
There's the original, and then there is it's the Midnight Blue Midnight Mix.
Yes. So on to my very next question. So why do you recommend people who haven't listened to both remixes of Midnight Blue, why do you recommend people listen to Midnight Blue in the first place?
I think because it tells such a unique story about, being in a long distance relationship. And I feel, especially with a lot of people in the world today, there are so many ways to relate to that, because every time I look up at the Midnight Blue, all I think about is you. And that's what the message is about. And it's always having that person in mind, no matter how far away you are. Even if I'm traveling to do business, or if I'm going somewhere and I can't can't have that person with me, they'll always be there with me in, you know, my head and my heart, and they're there for me always.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So you actually created this song called Back to You. What was that experience like, creating Back to You? And how did you come up with the idea of creating Back to You?
Oh, back to You is it's an interesting song. I mean, because I was working with a producer I worked down there in San Diego. He goes by the name of Gary Devon Dotson, who owns NVE Records, and he's such a nice guy. And when we were writing the song Back to You, we were just kind of playing with the idea of meeting this person, and you were so intrigued by meeting them that you wanted to keep going back to them. So that's kind of that. It's their chemistry that you felt with that person.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You actually created another song called No Goodbyes. What was that experience like, creating No Goodbyes? And yeah, how did you come up with the idea of that?
No Goodbyes, I worked on with a couple Italian DJs. There's Silvio Carano and Marcel, who also was on part of the remix as well. No Goodbyes was, I had a track, and I would just sit there and listen to a lot of the EDM tracks, and just based on how I was feeling with the production of that song, like that's what came to mind. No Goodbyes is like kind of in the same vein of Midnight Glue. It's like longing for that someone, even though like they're not there with you and you miss them like every day. So No Goodbyes is like, it's kind of like a sweet, how do I put this? It's like a sweet love story about, you know, being there for that person, even though they're not there with you. And at the same time, it's they're not there present with you, wishing that they were there with you.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You actually created a music video called Selfie, which I actually checked out, and it was another incredible smash hit. What was that experience like, creating this song called Selfie?
Oh, thank you. That song was another one that I did with Gary, that I did literally just on a backdrop and in my living room, and we just had I'm asking around like all these girls, and like we only had like maybe like 5 minutes to like in the living room to like really record everything. But the way the song came about was we had this mutual friend that we both know that was really into herself, and she always loved taking selfies. And the song kind of came about when we were joking about it, and we're like, yeah, look, let's do a song about this. Let's talk about how she's so into herself on the phone, and like, you know, and I don't want to rub people the wrong way. I just thought it was a cool idea, and like, you know, and doing the music video with it was just kind of, it just like the way it happened, it was just so overwhelming, and it was just like I didn't know if it was going to be a parody or if it was going to be more for like a real song. Even like it's more it's that story, and I just thought it was fun.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. As you mentioned before about anything or everything, how do you come up with the idea of creating anything or everything? And what is the meaning behind this song?
Well, let's see. So the song Anything and Everything was really it's one of those songs that it's got a very kind of like old school Motown vibe with it. And I wanted to try to be true to that song in that way. And the way Anything and Everything kind of came about was, you know, when I worked with Mike Winchester, who executive produced it, as well as Russ Regan. and then Preston Glass produced it, and then Mike Winchester, he had the world-renowned pianist Giovanni Moratti, and he wanted to play on the track with me. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Hey, I mean, I'm all for a world-class pianist, man. I give the man mad props of what he can do. He's phenomenal. But the overall song itself there were so many live instruments that we had to record on that track that like we were just like waiting hours and hours and hours until I could eventually sing the song. Then once I got in there and I did my thing with the song, it felt really good. And then from there, we Anything and Everything it's talking about, just spending time with that person and living in the moment with them, and saying anything and every like there's a time, there's a place for anything and everything.
So on to my very next question. You actually created a very incredible music video, another incredible music video called Living Life. What was that experience like, creating Living Life?
Oh, living life. That was, oh man, that's a trip. That's like going back. God, what year was that? That was like, ooh, that's like 2009, I think it was 2009. But it was right after, yeah. So I did that song, and we were kind of trying to do it like we were sort of trying to lead it in like a sort of like a movie, like leading into a music video. That's what the premise was a little bit. But the overall message for Living Life for me was, just taking forget anything materialistic that you think is important, and just like only like care about your friends and family, and living your life and sharing those moments with them, because you don't know when you're going to get those kind of moments back.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. Who inspired you as a person to get into creating music and performing?
Who inspired me? I mean, I grew up listening to all different types of music. So I would say just a lot of the artists that I listened to, like growing up, I listened to like Ray Charles, Roy Orbison, Elvis Presley, even some classical music like Andrea Bocelli. He's also one of my favorite vocalists of all time. He's got a voice that's as clear as a bell. And I'd say one of my other idols too is Justin Timberlake. He was a big influence on my life, and wanted me to, just for me to see what he did with his career, like that's like the path I wanted to do.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. What have you learned about yourself as a person, especially during COVID this year?
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a really good question. I'd say I think self-growth is probably the most important, and being able to really kind of do a lot of self-reflecting and look at like, what can I do to better myself? Not to be like egotistical or any way. It's just more of how can I better myself during these, trying times with, what's going on with the music industry, the entertainment industry, and being able to, open yourself up to the world at this point. And the internet's a great tool for that, to being able to express yourself and share those feelings with people that you feel that can relate to what they're going through. And I feel like the best thing about it is just, trying to stay positive. That's the big thing. And, there's a lot of negativity that's been going around, and, it's important that you try to stay clear from a lot of the negativity and just try to focus on what you love and what makes you happy.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. If you could work with any top 3 music artists in the industry, who would they be and why?
Oh man. I mean, I gotta give it to Justin Timberlake. That's a big one. I mean, that's someone I always wanted to work with music wise. He's just so meticulous with how he does stuff in the studio. He knows exactly what sounds he wants in terms of the production, the editing. And I feel like another really good one too is Timbaland, since they both collaborated, and I love all the beats that he does too. And it's just so amazing that he's able to take something so simplistic and make it so catchy at the same time. And the other one in particular that is really starting to grow on me is Ed Sheeran. And I like a lot of Ed Sheeran stuff just because he's able to think outside the box, and that's what I like about him a lot. And I feel like if him and I kind of met face to face and we were just, bouncing ideas and, songwriting and collaborating, I feel like that'd be really good. And even Post Malone would be another great one too. He's out there, but I love him. I love him.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. What are the positives and negatives into the music industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
Sure. I mean, most of the positives that come out of it, it's you being able to showcase yourself in front of, if it's one person, if it's 100 people, 1,000 people, and just being able to share your message and, being able to spread love and, happiness all the time. And I feel like a lot of the negative side is too sometimes is you get people online sometimes that, can either try to bring you down or, they'll say bad stuff about you, and you just can't pay any mind to it, because at the end of the day, you're doing what you're doing, and you're just following what you believe is the right thing. And I feel in terms of going through stuff like this, especially during these crazy COVID times, it's like we've gotten to that point where we've been so isolated for so many months. We've been through, all the stuff that's being put out there through the media, and, all these crazy stories that go around. And, it just gets overwhelming with too much negativity. And it's just saying, okay, I'll watch it for a little bit, turn it off. I'll work on what I love and what I like to do. So if you're having one of those days where you feel like, oh God, it's doom and gloom, it's always negative all the time, just tell yourself, look, you're in control of what you are in control of. No matter what anybody says out there, like, take care of you.
So on to my very next question and very last question. So what's next for you after COVID, like music-wise, with your career?
Oh, definitely. I have a lot of new projects that are still in the works right now. Even though I'm working from home mostly, I have a bunch of new projects I'm working on with music. I have a bunch of acting stuff I'm working on as well, voiceover, and just constantly putting out new content. I'm working on it as we speak. You got the mic back there and all this stuff as well. I'm constantly getting new material being sent to me on a daily basis. So just working on, writing new material and just going from there, and I'm hoping that the world opens back up next year so that I can start doing live gigs, or even, being able to just go and travel again.
Awesome. Well, can I just say thank you so much, Vince, for taking the time to come onto my show. It means a lot. Whoever hasn't listened to Vince's work, he's truly one incredible and inspirational person and singer. So definitely go give Vince the amazing and incredible support. Any last final things or thoughts that you would like to say to people?
Sure. I'm just saying, just have fun. I know it's the holidays. I know we're going through a crazy time right now, but just take the time to really connect with your family and your loved ones, and, just spend each and every moment with them, even if it's just a Skype call, a FaceTime call, a Zoom call, or even just calling on the phone, and just letting them know that you're there and they're not feeling sad about anything. And, if you want to DM me, if you guys want to DM me, if you guys feel like you're having a bad day, or if you want to say how happy you are, you can. I'm always right here. You guys know that. I'm always here for you. And know that I'll love you no matter what.
I don't understand. Why do you make me feel this way? Baby, take my hand, let's just run away.
You don't say a thing, you just bring your love to me. Is it just a dream? Do you feel it too? In the midnight blue, all I want is you. In the midnight blue, I can't resist you.
Wanna fly away, wanna see the moon, wanna take that train, oh, wanna be with you.
In the midnight blue, all I want is you. Just another day, thinking about you all the time. Feel my hungry heart, let me feel yours too.
You don't say a thing, you just bring your love to me. I just wanna know, now where do we go? In the midnight blue, dreams do come true. In the midnight blue, I can't resist you.
In the midnight blue, I'm gonna fly with you. In the midnight blue, oh, I wanna be with you.
In the midnight blue, I'm in love with you. Wanna fly away,
Wanna see the moon,
wanna take that train.
no, wanna be with you. In the midnight blue,
I'm in love with you.
Hello and all, welcome to a Galaxy Man Show interview show. So basically today's guest is this incredible singer called Natalie Wild. I'm about to give her an add into the live now and have a chat with Natalie. So here we go. Hello.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
You too. Okay, so I'm going to get you to introduce yourself and explain a bit about what you do, and then I'll dive right into the questions for you.
Okay, cool. My name's Natalie, obviously. I'm a singer-songwriter. I've been singing my entire life, but in the last few years, I've just started releasing some of my original songs, which has been a cool journey so far. Yeah.
Nice. So we'll dive right into the questions, Natalie. So for my first question, you have a new single coming out called Liar. What can people expect from that? And how did you come up with the idea of creating that?
Ooh, what can they expect from it? It is gonna get stuck in your head. I think you should expect that. It's quite a catchy chorus. It's quite Destiny's Child sort of vibe, you know, back from the 90s, because I love 90s music. And how did I come up with the idea? Well, honestly, it's sort of a true story. I did have a friend quite a while ago that I found out everything they said to me was a lie. And I didn't realize for a whole entire year that they actually had been lying to me the whole time about lots of things. So I kind of vented out those feelings in this song. Yeah.
Nice. So for my next question, Natalie, so you created 2 music videos called "You Make Me Wanna" and "Hot for Women." So what were those experiences like?
They were amazing. I absolutely love filming music videos. I would do it all the time if I could. It just costs a lot of money. So the very first one, Hot for Women, yeah, I saved up a lot of money and I got in contact with a lot of people in the LGBT community and asked if they'd be part of my video clip. And I've got some very iconic Brisbane drag queens in the video, Volly Levant and Tina Vicky. So that was amazing. And the one I just did recently, You Make Me Wanna, I teamed up with a Brisbane rapper called Switch, and well, she's just phenomenal. But it was an amazing experience. I love creating music and music videos, and everything coming together is just my dreams, really.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So for my next question, Natalie, who inspired you to get into music in the first place?
Oh, it either was my dad or my sister. So when I was born, my sister was already singing because she's 3 years older than me. And my dad plays jazz music. He plays the guitar and the keyboard. So there was always music in my house since I was born. And I started singing when I was 3 years old. So I sort of just straight away just jumped into it. Kind of was a family thing, but I just always loved doing it. Yeah.
Awesome. So for my next question, if you could work with any top 3 music artists in the industry, who would they be and why?
Can you make that happen? That would be awesome. Well, I would love to work with Christina Aguilera. She's an idol of mine. Her voice is just phenomenal, and I would love to learn from her. I also would love to work with Ariana Grande. Her voice is also amazing. I want to work with all the divas. And who else? Oh, maybe a bit of Britney Spears. That would be fun. I just love the 90s, so yeah.
So on to the next question. Following that, if you could perform any artist song covers, what song covers would you perform and why?
I mean, do I have to be able to sing them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'd probably be a Christina Aguilera song. I'm not sure which one, but something with a lot of sass. I love like sassy, belty, gutsy sort of music. Yeah.
So for my next question, Natalie, if you could give any advice to any music artists that want to get into the music industry, what advice would you give them? And if you could give any advice on the positives and negatives into the industry, what are the negatives and how do you get through those negatives?
I mean, I feel like I'm still on my journey to get through the negatives. But if you've got music and in your heart and you need to, I feel like it's the best way to express your feelings. And if you've got that in you, you've got to get it out. So I'd say just do it and find what makes you feel like you. It takes a while to sort of find your sound and your message. Don't try to be just like someone else to be popular or cool. I would say do what feels right for you and keep developing that, which is what I'm currently trying to do now. It's a pretty tough industry, and I guess the negatives would be, you know, there's a lot of like internet bullying and stuff like that, and I don't know, I just say don't read comments of people if you've got a big following. Not that anyone's been mean to me yet.
So for my next question, what new projects, like music-wise, do you have after all this COVID drama?
Oh my gosh. I have a show that I'm really wanting to put on with a couple of my burlesque dancers. One of them was in my music video. We were supposed to be performing in Sydney, but we can't get down there right now. So I've been waiting for that for a while. And yeah, really, I just want to get back on stage and do some shows and sing my new material, because it's not so fun just singing in my bedroom. But yeah.
Awesome. So, what I get you to do now, Natalie, you want to perform your new song, Liar?
Yeah, sure.
So I'll let you take it away, and yeah.
You can tell me if it's too loud. Or...
So help you God, yeah, sure, whatever.
You're a liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. Making a mess of getting me stressed, so your lies with you confess. Liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. How'd you keep up with all those lies? You're a liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. Making a mess of getting me stressed, so your lies with you confess. Liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. How'd you keep up with all those lies? When I hear your words, they just pretend. When I see the smile, I know you're lying again. So caught up in what you say. But when I look into your eyes, you glance the other way. Think it's time that you set things straight with me. When you do, it'll be too late, you see. 'Cause I played your games, it's all the same, you'll never change. Can't you see you're losing us when you open your mouth in the moment I try? 'Cause you're a liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. Thinking not to get me stressed, so you're a confess. Liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. How'd you keep up with all those lies? You're a liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. Thinking not to get me stressed, so you're a confess. Liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. How'd you keep up with all? I let you fool me 1, 2, 3, 4 times, believing, oh, I was blind, that you left your trail on the tracks of contradiction and false start. Think it's time I let you know I'm on to you. When you do, you should know that we are through. 'Cause I played your games, it's all the same, and you're to blame. Can't you see you're losing us? Don't open your mouth and my face in disguise. You're a liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be. Making a mess of getting me stressed, so your lies with you. Liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be. How'd you keep up with all those lies? You're a liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be. Making a mess of getting me stressed, so your lies with you. Liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be. How'd you keep up with all those lies? Now you're caught red-handed, don't know where to go. Words leave splinters in my ears. I'm taking the note in you. That's why you're a liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. Making mess of getting stressed, so your lies with that liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. I keep up with all those lies. You're a liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. Making mess of getting stressed, so your lies with that liar, cheater, and I wouldn't want to be ya. How to keep up with all those lies? How to keep up with all those lies? How'd you keep up with all those lies?
Awesome. Well, can I just say, Natalie, thank you so much again for coming on to my show. Thank you so much. Everyone, definitely go give Natalie the amazing and incredible support, and definitely go check out her new single coming out on the 27th of August. I hope that I said that right. Awesome.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, definitely check out Liar.
Thank you so much for having me.